Now, Gerrie Nel today is not going to be cross-examining any witness. In fact, he's spent the day, or he's going to spend the day with one of the psychiatric evaluators for Oscar Pistorius. So what would he be doing there? Can you give us an indication of why he's chosen to do that today?
Or he might be watching the World Cup.
It's possible.
Later on.
It's possible.
I think what he is saying, that he needs to look at the aspects that Durban has presented to the court and get an opinion and advice from another expert in the same field. Because again, Gerrie Nel is not an expert with regard to medical and psychiatric evaluations himself. He's got to go and rely on other people. That is why the defense is calling experts, and he's called experts during the presentation of the state case. So he's fully entitled, particularly, where we suddenly have witnesses are being called. Now, there's no obligation on the defense beforehand to say what witnesses they're going to call. I think there is a kind of a rule or an informal rule, that you tell the other side in proceedings what you're going to present and which witnesses you're going to call. The state has an obligation to say, we're calling these witnesses, here are their statements beforehand. That's in terms of the Constitution. The accused has a right to have all the information that the state has against him or her and to present that to the defense. There's not a similar rule in our law relating to the defense, but I would feel that they should say beforehand, hang on, we've got these witnesses to call. So, I mean, Gerrie, is not necessarily prepared. So he's fully entitled to ask for the adjournment, and I think correctly so it was being granted, so he can spend the day or the weekend consulting and carrying on Monday, because he will get input from somebody who can advise him what Durban is saying is correct or isn't correct. And he might come back on Monday and say, look, I have no further questions. Or we might come back, contest aspects. And another point is that is Gerrie Nel now, request the court an opportunity to reopen his case, to call witnesses, to rebut some of the aspects that the defense witnesses have presented. He is entitled to do that, particularly if it's aspects that he could not have known about. But you can't have a closing of the state case, the defense case, an opening of the state case, then the defense case again. I mean, that becomes ludicrous, because you have to have a fair trial, and a trial has to take place within a fairly reasonable period of time. These are all constitutional aspects. So, but I think if it's stuff that comes out on technicalities, he would be fully entitled, if he didn't know beforehand, to say, I wish to call a witness about something. But maybe he decides not to. Maybe his cross-examination knocks the issues that are raised by Durban out, so that at the end Durban's evidence is not as strong as the defense would like it to be.